This is a video for the Barney Rubble Syndicate. Well, guys, we took Barney to the Carolina International over the last few days. He's been back up in Pennsylvania for a couple of weeks, and then we made the trip back south to the Carolina Horse Park. We contested the big class. This was his first proper competition for the year. It was the 4-star short FEI class at Carolina, and it was a very challenging competition in all phases. It was a strong field. There must have been 35-40 horses in it, and Barney was the very first horse to go, 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning, and he did a pretty good test actually. Still, obviously there's a lot of room for improvement, and unfortunately, because we went at 8 in the morning, I did get on him really early, but the sun only comes up at about 6:45. So I rode him for half an hour, then hopped off him and had a coffee, and then I got back on him. So he was not too wild. All in all, he's starting to behave himself more and more in the ring. There were 2 judges at this competition. These FEI competitions, we've got 2 dressage judges. One sits in the middle of the arena at C, and one sits on the side of the arena. The good news is the one at C, the head of the ground jury, Sandy Phillips, loved Barney. She gave him a 67%, which actually she placed him in 4th place out of 40-odd horses. She scored him in 4th place, which was very exciting. And then, unfortunately, the judge on the side, she didn't have much passion for Barney. She gave him a 62%, which was a massive difference, and she sort of had him towards the end of the field. So figure that one out. So I'm not sure which one to believe. Actually, I believe that the good judge got the judge at C had it right. Obviously, there's still greenness, like that flying change was all over the shop, and in the dressage work, he's still very tight in the neck. And I had a look at the score sheets, and the judge on the side of the arena didn't like the fact that he's a little bit tight in the neck and not sort of stretching out in his frame, where the the judge at C quite liked a nice uphill look. Barney's got an unusual sort of frame. He loves to carry his head up high and his neck up high. It's quite awkward to ride, especially in the jumping phases. But anyway, at this event, I wasn't too worried about the finishing scores. We actually needed to complete this event in what they call a result that sort of fits the criteria to move up to the next level. So, which we did. We had 1 rail in the show jumping, and we had some time penalties cross country. But we met the criteria, which was a big step. So this was, I think, Barney's 4th 4-star. And I think it was by far the toughest cross country, which you'll see a fair bit of today. But anyway, he was, like I said, very good. He's a hard horse to go fast on. The cross country was seriously tough. Like Derek DeGrazio, the designer from Burley and Kentucky 5-star, was the guy that set the cross country course. So it was tough. It was sort of preparing the horses for Kentucky 5-star. So, and you'll see we got a fair bit of the cross country here. It was brilliant. So anyway, Barney, like I said, I didn't push him for the time, so I think he'll come out of this fit and healthy. Next event, I think we're going to do the advanced horse trials at up here in Pennsylvania, at Fair Hill, which is in Maryland. That's April 18th and 19th at Fair Hill. He'll do the advanced horse trials there, which is another serious track. And then after that, we will go to the Tryon 4-star Long, which is in the second week of May. So I think the Tryon event will actually really go for it and try and really be competitive and go for the time cross country. It'll be an 11-minute course, so it'll be a real test of endurance and speed and stamina, which I think that's Barney's biggest strength. Barney's been a bit of a tricky horse, a difficult horse, and all of a sudden, when we're at the top level of the sport, when these jumps get really, really big, all of a sudden, Barney's, power and scope come in handy. This was the show jumping. Again, we were the first horse to go. That first line was supposed to be 9 strides and 7 strides, and Barney did 8 strides and 6 strides. He's got a huge gallop step. It's a quite hard show jumping in this ring, just because it's sort of out in the middle of the cross country, and I think the horses see the cross country jumps and get fired up. And obviously Barney's a spectacular jumper, and the hardest thing is actually his rideability. He's quite wild. He sort of sticks his head up and he runs at the jump, and my biggest challenge is actually just trying to keep him calm and quiet. He had a rail down here. This was the final line. It was a 1 stride combination, and from memory he just catapulted in really big over part A and part B, and got so close to part C that he tipped it out. The combinations are always going to be a challenge with Barney, just because he jumps in really, really far into the combination. This is Barney at the start of the cross-country, dancing around in typical Barney fashion. My trusty groom there, Steph, led me in, and then we're away. This was a big course, and Barney Rubble was just fantastic. He jumped all of the direct routes, and flew around the course quite easily. Actually, I was very, very pleased with him. So anyway, guys, sit back and enjoy the cross country. Barney's a fantastic horse, and we're off and running, and we're at the top of the sport now, which is very exciting. We're still developing, getting better, but we're at the final level of the sport. So I think from here on out, it's just big events, and hopefully some big results with Barney.
Appearances. 3 top 10s in those. He was World Team Silver in Petroni in 2022, and currently he is the highest ranked U.S. rider in the world at number 10.
Oh no, do we not see that combination?
There's the 4, there's a corner, so good out over the corner. That's a track turn. That is the first quite significant question on this course. That table, it's huge at 4, and then it's a bending 5 or 6 to the corner at 4B. Good over the parallel rails at 5.
So this next combination coming up, I believe 6 and 7, 2 huge tables on a very, very acute angle, 3 strides apart. From where they take off to land on this jump, I mean, it is an incredibly long distance.
Yeah, all riders are going to be watching this right here. Good shot in.
And then the 3, yeah.
He made it look easy.
The good news is that the 3 is actually very fair, and it's not long. As long as you have a good shot on the way in, you're in good shape.
Barney and Boyd have had 4 runs together at this level, but this is Barney Rubble's first time here in the 4-star short class at the Setters Run Farm, Carolina International.
Huge gaping ditch under fence 8. You can't really appreciate it from the camera angle, but that's a huge jump. But one that the riders honestly will just be considered as a kind of a filler fence, just to get them from one combination to the next.
This is another tougher combination here at 9. The Oxer to the triple brush to an open left-handed corner.
Makes that look easy. Catches on the angle a little bit.
Good.
Deceptive little drop on the backside of that coupe roll top. And again, another little let up fence to set up for the main water. Big, huge log, big drop in.
And that's quite a tight turn left to jump up and bounce out.
Yep.
Nicely done for Boyd.
And that's a very tall bank coming up out of the water, so it really does need respect.
Boyd's comes down. They've really made some changes to this complex here with fresh sod.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They've redone the earthworks there. It's again, sometimes it's really hard to appreciate from the camera angle, but it's a serious steep slope from the first element of the coffin to the ditch.
Big jump there for Barney Rubble over 15. The hillside rails.
Forgiving, that's good. That's a good sign.
It is numbered separately, so riders do have the option
Right.
to not take the direct route.
There's a new look at that, the Normandy Bank. Big ditch and brush, heading now towards the Montrose water. Big old brush on the way in.
Good job, Boyd. Excellent. Then he's going to come right-handed to the trichanor and corner. This section of the course, to me, there's a lot that comes up very quick.
Yeah, pretty intense.
Big trichanor there. So come down the ramp and then turn left to the corner at B. Nicely done. All right, so just 2 left for Boyd and Barney Rubble. Be excited to see what his time is. I know all the riders will be looking at it.